Welcome Classic enjoyers to another video. Today I want to address a very big topic. I've been thinking about this one for quite a while now, since the hardcore mode is getting more and more popular. Let's talk about the Burning Crusade and its potential future in hardcore. The Burning Crusade is my absolute favorite expansion. I enjoyed the hell out of it in 2007, in 2021, and would definitely do it again if we are getting a TBC Hardcore server. To me personally, TBC feels like an improved version of vanilla, while still maintaining its core values. Sure, the space theme and flying mounts are not everyone's cup of tea, but overall, whenever I talk to people about TBC, it's mostly positive things being mentioned. While TBC Softcore has been officially confirmed back in November, the obvious question came up regarding hardcore servers. And the answer was no. Back then, Blizzard had no plans to advance the current hardcore servers towards TBC. I firmly believe that this will change eventually though. But why do I think this? Over the past weeks we've seen a crazy surge in popularity of hardcore. Whether you like it or not, most of the hype when it comes to streaming definitely went to the OnlyFans project. All eyes were on their hardcore content. Originally the OnlyFans project was supposed to be hosted on the old hardcore servers, but Sodapoppin got some insider information which made him postpone it and wait for the fresh servers to be released. So why is the streamer hype important? Blizzard is a Nasdaq listed company. They want to provide and increase shareholder value. If the numbers are good enough and hardcore becomes a better tool to bring in new players and revenue, then there's no way that Blizzard will not act and make use out of this. The official blue post states that TBC is not fitting for hardcore since it is too hard and there is too much randomness involved. I strongly disagree with this statement. Blizzard doesn't take a very important factor into account here: the mindset of the players. Hardcore has proven one thing, and Blizzard should definitely take note here. Not everyone needs to see everything, have everything, and clear everything. A mentality that in my opinion corrupted every expansion from Wrath of the Lich King onwards and made WoW way less appealing to many people, including myself. Hardcore has clearly proven that there is a massive amount of players without that mindset. Only a small percentage of players actually makes it to level 60, and an even smaller percentage will clear the final raid next Ramus on the hardcore servers. Is it a problem though? Absolutely not. Hardcore is about the journey and players seem to love it. In fact, this is what makes hardcore so special. So the question is how to make TBC suitable for hardcore. I want to address a couple of things in this video. If Blizzard, contrary to their original statement, plans to release TBC hardcore servers, there should be some small changes to improve the overall gameplay experience. TBC does indeed have some spicy game mechanics, but most of them can be easily fixed by using an earlier patch version, or in some cases a later patch version. I will tell you what I mean by this in detail. In order to fully understand the state of tuning that we have been playing in since 2019 Classic, you must think of Classic and TBC as a timeline. When Classic was originally released in 2004, the state of the classes was very weak compared to what we saw in the launch of the 2019 Classic version. The final and last patch of Classic WoW was 1.12, and that one was released in 2006 after almost 2 years of constant balance patches and bug fixes. Blizzard decided to launch the 2019 version of Classic in the final patch of Vanilla, but still keeping the later raids artificially closed, just as we see it currently on the anniversary servers. That means the classes all have their final patch talents and stats. In simple terms, they are way stronger than they were when the original Molten Core and Blackwing Lair patches were live on these servers back in 2005. So technically speaking, all the classes are balanced for next Ramus. Hence, the earlier raids feel very easy nowadays. When TBC originally came out, Blizzard changed the course and approached things a little bit differently. The classes changed as well from the beginning towards the end of the expansion, but not as drastically as they did in Vanilla, and this is also not the main point when it comes to TBC. When TBC was released, Blizzard back then decided to make the first raiding tier incredibly hard tuned. Karazhan, Magtheridon and Gruul were really rough and got nerfed quite significantly towards the end of the expansion. In the 2021 release, Blizzard wanted us to experience the unnerfed versions whenever a new raid tier was released. And this is where my first adjustment comes in to make things a little bit more suitable for hardcore. Release the raids in the post-nerfed state of the end of TBC, precisely in the state of the last patch. I personally think nerfed tier 4 and tier 5 raids won't harm anyone, and they still will be hard enough for hardcore purposes. Specifically tier 4 had some sketchy mechanics in it. Let's take the Mechtheridon cube clicking for example. Pre-nerf, you had to assign several cube clickers for every single one of the cubes, since they gave a 3-minute long debuff, which made it impossible to click them again. For anyone who doesn't know the boss, there's 5 clickable cubes in the room, which have to be clicked at the same time, otherwise the boss will blow up the entire raid. Here's an example of what this would look like.
You click front left,
Back one.
Him. Joking me. You're fucking trolling me, dude. You have only one job, bro.
Another dangerous and inviting mechanic for griefers is the knockback on Gruul. Gruul does knockback every player, petrifying them after a couple of seconds. If you end up standing too close to your neighbor, you might potentially get one-shotted here. These two mechanics can be easily adjusted by using the post-nerf states of the encounters on release. I will show you another two mechanics that could cause trouble in hardcore. The first one is Prince Malchezaar in Karazhan. He casts a debuff on 4 random people in the raid, which puts them at 1 HP left only. Now, what can happen in theory is that you get super unlucky with the Infernal RNG and get one-shot even though you are doing nothing wrong. There's a couple of different fixes here, but I would think adding a fire damage immunity to the debuff would be the easiest one. The second one being Terron Gorefiend in Black Temple. He randomly chooses a player to become a ghost, and once you release the ghost form, your character dies instantly. This one would be also easily fixable, just as Blizzard did with some deadly quests in Classic. Technically, there's no need to kill the player here, and this could be fairly easily adjusted. Those were just a few examples of how you could very easily and with minimum effort make TBC raids more suitable for hardcore. Bottom line here is, yes, the Burning Crusade raids are definitely harder than classic raids by a wide margin. But then again, you need to consider another important point, which any guildmaster or raid leader will be able to relate to. Raid groups of 25 or even 10 men are significantly easier to manage and maintain than the big machinery behind 40-man raids. So in my opinion, the argument of raids not being sustainable in the Burning Crusade is also not a strong one. Again, the mindset of the players is not to farm Sunwell every week. Sure, some tryhards might try to do so, but the majority of players will simply enjoy to see something new after 2 years of classic hardcore. Ultimately, Blizzard did recognize one thing very well in their blue post. Hardcore has always been focused on the 1 to 60 journey, and that's why the true challenge would be to make TBC as enjoyable as possible. I've thought about this for quite a while, and I came to the conclusion that in order to have the optimal gameplay feeling from 1 to 60, there would be a small change needed in Burning Crusade. OGs know what I'm talking about when I mention the big patch 2.3 of the original Burning Crusade. Since we got the final patch version of TBC in 2021, many new players probably don't know this, but there was a very major patch happening halfway through the expansion back then. Patch 2.3 nerfed the XP needed per level from 20 to 60 significantly. But not only that, the XP rewarded by quests from 30 to 60 was increased as well. This nerf did speed up the level process from 1 to 60 by quite a bit. But this is not the problem here. I would say this change might be technically up for debate, but considering that 60 to 70 also takes a while, it might be over the top here to have the pre-nerf XP values for 1 to 60. The actual big thing that should definitely be in its pre-nerf version for hardcore is the outdoor game world. Patch 2.3 nerfed almost every elite quest in the game from 1 to 60 and made the content pretty trivial and boring. Since hardcore is about the journey, it should feel rewarding, and in my opinion Blizzard should keep the world as close to the classic version as possible. The pre-patch 2.3 state is pretty much the classic world you know. It already gets easier because we have all the new TBC talents, there's no need to additionally nerf the world on top of that. So to put a bottom line here, in a perfect world we would have the raids released in their post-nerf versions, while having the outdoor world in its pre-nerf version. Blizzard stated in an old blue post that from TBC on they have all the patch data available, so it shouldn't take too much effort to set it up like this. Of course, this is totally up for discussion and I am very curious about your guys' opinion here, especially if you're an OG TBC player. At this point I am pretty convinced we will see a TBC version of Hardcore, simply due to the big popularity on Twitch and YouTube. So if I had to point out my 3 most important adjustments that we need for TBC to move forward, it would be: first of all, Pre-Nerf Outdoor World. The open world is a big part of the hardcore journey and plays a huge role for the fun factor. Making it too easy would make the entire challenge feel fluffy. Second, Post-Nerf Raid releases. The raids in the pre-nerf states are simply not made for hardcore. There is no discussion about that. But as a TBC fan, I'm pretty confident that all the post-nerf versions can be cleared. Third and final point, the option to copy existing hardcore characters to the TBC Hardcore server. Do not force players to move there. Let them explore it whenever they are ready to do so. So now I'm really curious to hear your opinion. Would you like to play TBC Hardcore if it was an option? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you don't want to miss out on any new updates regarding the TBC Hardcore servers, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching and see you on the next video.